We're going to continue our discussion this morning and talk about Haiti. It's a place you've probably heard a lot about the news, and now we're going to talk to somebody who's been there quite often and is trying to do a lot of good work there. We say good morning to Jay Nielsen with Missions International of America. How many times have you been to Haiti now?
31 teams I've led in. 31
teams in there. You got a great fundraiser that's coming up next week. We'll talk about that in a little bit here. But when you've gone into Haiti, give me an idea of what the conditions are like there these days.
Well, it was tough before the earthquake, and of course it's not been improved by the rubble. It's pretty tough. You've still got 500,000 people living under tents and torn tarps. The average annual income has dropped by half since the earthquake due to unemployment. So it's a tough environment.
It's very, very tough, but you're doing a lot of good work there. And
we're doing good.
You have a fundraiser coming up next week. What kind of, you're trying to raise money to continue some of the work that you've already done down there?
Correct. We've had a school with 300 kids in it and a feeding program for many years. My wife started a factory making jewelry, and there's a couple of them.
Very nice.
And they've really done a great job. And we now have 50 women working for her that make $400 US a year. That's a huge wage in Haiti. But our big project now is I'm building a farm resource center, and our objective is to get everyone in the community growing something unique and of value. I'm working with a couple herbal manufacturers, and we're trying to grow herbs for re-importation back to the United States and Europe.
Okay, so not only would you have those kind of products, but those are jobs.
Those are jobs. Jobs is job to me. Right.
Is there serious amounts of employment there in Haiti?
No, the unemployment is about 90%.
Wow. We quibble over 8%.
Right, and they consider full employment to be 10 hours a week too. And so it's really pretty tough, and there's a lot of it. That does not include the agrarian. I'm working on my own farm and making money to feed my family, but true job placement, it's a very tough number.
So what's the biggest barrier to creating solid amounts of employment there?
An unstable grid, poor water, both of which are the reasons we're succeeding as we've solved both those problems. And a lack of vision, probably a lack of vision. President Martelly has done a wonderful job, but the Haitian Senate is just kind of broken. Right. It's hard to get people to come in and want to invest because they get disappointed easily.
Is there a lot of American support still down there?
Yes, yes, mostly American support. There was a lot of support during the earthquake. We also have seen a lot of support from Venezuela. They're providing our grid. Cuba, they're providing 1/3 of our health care now.
So the Americans, the Cubans, and the Venezuelans are all working together?
Not together.
Not together. Okay. Everybody does their own thing?
Right.
So how does your group work, and how do you take local people and get them in there to try to stabilize things?
Well, we don't really do the mission vacation thing where people go in and pay their money and go paint something. I go, if you want to do that, give me that money, and I'll go hire 5 Haitians for a year to work full time with the money it'd take me to take you in.
Okay.
All of our people are consultants. Everybody that goes in on a trip is there because they need to understand the environment, come back here to be effective.
So why Haiti? How did you get involved with Haiti?
Oh, you haven't got enough time. The Lord put me in Haiti. I was in Trinidad, and I got sucked into a trip that someone else couldn't fulfill because of appendicitis, and came home and told my wife, you got to see this. It's the most amazing place on earth.
With 90% unemployment and an electric grid that sounds like it's on the fritz, how can that be the most wonderful place you've ever seen?
The people. The people are simply amazing. They never give up. They have more hope than you can imagine. They're incredibly intelligent. And when you give a man, my favorite story, we hire 50 men on each trip, and they get $50 plus fed every day, and we work them hard.
Haitians,
digging,
right?
Haitians,
Okay.
and they're digging in the sun. We went down last year before Christmas, and they said, we have a request. I said, okay. They said, we want you to cut our wages 20% and hire 16 more men because Christmas is coming. Do that in America.
Wouldn't happen.
Wouldn't happen.
I don't think it would happen. What does that make you feel like when you see
it's
that
worth
happen?
being there. It's worth being there. They're great people, and they'll do anything. They'll do anything to fix their own environment. They just need help.
So it's hard workers, people that want to do the work, but it doesn't sound like they have the infrastructure to do anything.
Correct.
And what do you see as the biggest hindrance? Is it the grid? Is it
the lack of
government?
money? The lack of money. If somebody tomorrow handed me $1 million, I would within a year employ 2,000 people by finishing my program, putting everybody up on their own drip irrigation, have them all growing crops, develop my export system, and they'd all be making money.
Do you ever see that happening? long
I don't
term?
know. Lots of interesting things happen. I never give up.
Okay. So tell us about the fundraiser you have coming up here next
It's
week.
a fun fundraiser. It's at Grace United Methodist Church, August 12th, Sunday, a week from the time of this filming. For 6 hours, we have inside bands that might approach more my age, and outside bands. That is a great story. I have 2 bands that are going down with 2 other possible bands, and we're going to do a mission trip. And we're going to do a big concert in the stadium, and then 4 nights in 4 big churches and rotate. Very exciting prospect.
Nice.
That's Christian Hearts Club Band and all of the bands from Bridges at McCord Road Church.
Okay.
Great program. It's going to be one of my favorite mission trips in my life. They'll be outside. Both those bands will be outside. And then we have silent auctions and real auctions and lots of food, and we have Air Extreme inside, outdoors, lots of Air Extreme for the kids, and we have a dozen really neat games for the kids. Lots of things to do. Everybody has a good time. We have about 1,500 people.
Now, when you have these events, do you also educate people about what's going on?
There's lots to walk around and see. We don't make them do that, but mostly when you get there's lots of stuff displayed on the walls, and people are fascinated. I'll have the plants that I'm growing in Haiti, my herbals growing there for people to see, and we have opportunities for people to understand what it takes to really get to this grid of water and electricity. You know, First Solar gave me 300 solar panels. That's why I'm up.
Good.
I'm pumping free water. It's hard to do. It's expensive to pump water.
Sure.
I'm pumping it for free.
When a young person sees the pictures and hears your stories, what is their reaction?
They get it. The kids get it. We go out to schools, and Jan and I say all the time, it's so much fun to talk to a 3rd grader because they get it. They immediately understand, immediately get excited.
That's good, and hopefully they become workers and helpers with you in the future, and maybe long-term can alleviate some of those problems, we hope. Well, we wish you the best of luck. Best of luck with the fundraiser and as your continued missions as you go through.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time this morning. So who should get credit for recovery in Ohio, the governor or the president? We discussed in Take